um, how things are going, I think remarkably well, and I'll explain to you the reason. In 2018, when I joined Rakuten, this idea of symphony, it just did not start in 2018. I just did not say, hey, let's do this. But in 2018, the objective that we had, can we build a mobile infrastructure that truly disrupts the cost and economics? That was the reason. And the truth, it wasn't about a security of vendor A versus vendor B. Nobody really understand the behind the scenes story. The story for us was, regardless of the vendor choice, if we as a fourth mobile operator cannot disrupt the cost and economics, then we have no business. We are dead. And to disrupt the business, we decided to take the things that the world says it's impossible. And we decided to disrupt the radio access, because 80% of capex, regardless of world geography you live in, is always about radio access. For the longest time ever, if you trace all the way to 30 years how radio access was served, it was all about big boxes, big cabinets, the ability of having cranes that you have to put on rooftop. I just thought this is just nonsense in this day of age. And you look at the group company of Rakuten, it is mostly about internet services. The truth is, Rakuten is not a telecom company. But the reason I joined Rakuten is I thought, if there is a path in which a company, its leadership, would give me the dream I want, it has to be Rakuten, because they understood the beauty of software. So when I sold this idea to our chairman, about the desire to build the world first end-to-end virtualized infrastructure, the desire to disaggregate radio, the truth is, he did not hesitate to say yes. Now, if I try to do this somewhere else, I think there will be a lot of challenges in adopting this concept, because there was then really in 2018 it was just primarily a PPT, and then I had this idea. Even when I started in Geo in India, it really was in my mind. I just couldn't push even Geo to go and do what I wanted to do in the radio. Mickey was completely supportive of the idea. He understood it, appreciated it, and says, let's just go put all our energy into it. And we've done that. So when we launched our network, to your point, the analogy you used is AWS to IT industry. So I told my team, I said, we've done things that I consider to be, honestly speaking, not a technology evolution, it's a technology revolution. Why should we restrict this architecture only to us? If we've done amazing breakthroughs in radio, amazing breakthroughs in cloud, amazing breakthroughs in automation, why not package this as a platform? And that's, by the way, what we started with is RCP. And then, to be truthful with you, I like also orchestra quite a bit. And I was using the word symphony for one of the product lines inside our company. And, our chairman said, why don't we use symphony as the brand of the new platform? So, and RCP got folded now as a product under Symphony. So the first customer for Symphony is actually Rakuten Mobile. And this gives me a unique advantage. I'm not trying to market or sell things that are just hypothetical. They are tested, validated, and trialed. And now Rakuten Mobile exceeding 32,000 macro base station on air for outdoor, completely disaggregated architecture, completely open RAN platform, a massive network that supports massive MIMO for 5G, millimeter wave, achieving breakthrough in performance. And in fact, if you look at Open Signal report, I encourage you to review it. How can a network that is infant become the best network in Japan in terms of speed, both download and upload? A network that the world said, including what I heard from legacy vendors, Open RAN will not work, Open RAN is not scalable, massive MIMO will not work in this architecture. But we continue to prove that with determination and hiring the right mindset, we are making a big difference. Symphony was established with an idea to export the platform that we have done in Japan. We hired Robbie to be our chief revenue officer, and I would tell you, for many of you that don't know this too, Robbie interview was very unusual. By the way, he read a lot what I'm doing, and he presented to me his views on what he would do to help. And it was just like, I mean, we clicked. I thought, this guy understood the value add. His first breakthrough was not focused on doing something little, but let's go big. And when you take an opportunity to say, where can we take Symphony? Now, of course, Japan was interesting. It's a completely quality obsessed country, and I would say quality obsessed in terms of my boss, and quality obsessed in terms of consumer. Now, what happens if we go to Germany? And that's a what I call it. We all know the engineering marvelous of the society and the amazing, elegant things, and the obsession also about quality. And really signing a deal structure that I think for us is a really big breakthrough to prove the point that Open RAN has viability, and going to customer base with an entire integrated stack, which I would call Rakuten 2.0 in the heart of Europe and Germany, is not a bad thing for a startup to actually start with. Then we started to complete the stack of Symphony, and we went after the pieces that matter. We went and acquired 100% of Altio Star. So that gives us some amazing, distinct intellectual property, as well as capability. And the second thing that we've done, and I mentioned today in my keynote, the truth is radio access, Open RAN, without automation platform, doesn't have the value add that people expect it to provide. Rakuten has an utter unique stack for what the world called OSS. We transformed this legacy OSS into a new modern architecture, served through an app store, tie this together with radio lifecycle management, and in fact, this OSS today is already sold to many global telco operators. So I'm happy about our progress. I think now our biggest challenge is just really literally just scaling our organization. The ideas have tremendous excitement from the community as a whole, and it's important for us that we are perceived. If you ask me, I don't like to ever be called a vendor. I don't like this word at all. I think it's something that I hope we would not deserve that, to be very honest with you. I would like to be considered as a platform partner that is far more focused on selling boxes and selling solution and advancing the cause of our prospective customer towards digitization and other services they might want to do. So I'm happy about where we are. And my only worry is just to make sure that we continue to hire the right people that understand the disruption that we want to achieve in this industry.
You answered that was, can I retain the DNA of the company?
Yeah.
As I accelerate, right? That was the answer.
Yep.
I thought that was exactly right. I think what you're doing makes a lot of sense. And I don't come from the telco. I do come from the telco space in some sense, but I've been on the enterprise side historically. And when you come to telco, you look at it as all the standards and all that makes no sense. Right? Fundamentally, you have to work with the UEs, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And then that's basically it. Right? Basically, you give them data or you give them voice.
Exactly.
What you do on the back end, no one really cares.
Yeah. A customer wouldn't care, right? A customer wouldn't, honestly, like, if you say, oh, this is running on Open RAN, he doesn't care.
That's correct.
Yeah.
It is Nokia call, Ericsson call,
Exactly.
No one cares.
Exactly.
Right? Fundamentally, if I get a service quality that I want, the price that I want,
Exactly.
So once you speak that interface, the rest is
Yeah.
up to you.
So look, I mean, I'll tell you something that I am, I do, and if you talk to my team members, they will tell you, every end of quarter, at the end of the year, I put a freeze on hiring, by design, by the way, not by budget. I want them to re-examine the efficiency. By the way, today Japan is not allowed to hire a single employee. My total for this 32,000 sites they have, headcount-wise, I have only 200 operation people, and they're not allowed to hire a single person beyond the 200. And I'm going to do, by the way, to Ravi's team, the same thing. I don't want to become a bloated, inflated company that we cannot control its DNA. Otherwise, game is lost. So we need to be. I still repeat what I said before. My biggest worry in the early days in Rakuten Mobile, believe me, I have handpicked every human being that worked for me. If you see me on LinkedIn, you'll discover that I do my own recruiting. And I will continue as a CEO to do that because I want to make sure that the organization understand the criticality that we don't want to be a 50,000 employee company. My dream is to be as large in revenue, if not larger than the largest telecom OEM today, with only 5,000 employees in totality. Not hundreds of thousands of employees. And that requires a different essence on what we do and architecture and so on. So yeah, I think that continues to be the focus area. Is scaling now is the challenge that we need to take as we are into that stage where growth is really massively in terms of potential, but we need to ensure that we're focused on hiring the right people to take this forward.
No, I think that makes sense. And I think constraining it forces automation.
Yeah, exactly.
The same way that Facebook, one person can manage 10,000 servers.
Exactly.
Because you put constraints, they'll figure it out.
And that's exactly what happened to my team now. They said, look, what's the option? I work 24/7, or I actually write a code to address automation. So it's the culture that I want him to start thinking about how to drive efficiency into day-to-day operations.
No, it's very smart. And the same thing, even on the customer experience side, I think the sales side is a lot of automation possible.
Exactly.
The revenue per employee or the profit per employee of the cloud providers, there's no reason.
This is my point. I mean, just think about this, a basic thing. If you track from the early days of this AMPS technology to TDMA to GSM to 3G to 4G to 5G, the business units inside an operator have never changed, by the way. You still need the back-end engineers, backfill engineers, RF engineers, drive testers, field technicians. And I wanted to do very different things in Japan. So when our sites, the construct of them, when I was imagining early days, I really thought that if we're going to succeed, we have to enable a Wi-Fi-like experience on licensed radio. And to enable Wi-Fi-like experience, you discover the beauty with virtualization is, I'll give you an example. To instantiate a VM takes literally about 1 minute. Okay, well, wow, this is elegant. So now I could, but by the way, enterprise have benefited from this for decades. And they moved away from VMs as they went into containers and different platform architecture. So people are celebrating, it's now in telcos we have VMs, but believe me, that's not cloud native. Yeah, it's still, to me, it's horrible in architecture. So I wanted to challenge a lot of things and move people into a new domain. And I started asking a question that if you talk to all the OEM partners, they will tell you, to my knowledge, I'm the only person that asked him this question. I said, for me to judge if you're a cloud native application provider, I'm just going to ask you one question. What is the Docker container image size that you have for your microservices? Now, this for me dictated, if someone comes to you and says, I have 1.6 gigabyte, you will know what microservices, my friend, are you talking about. So it's a huge container done.
It's a VNF and a container.
Exactly. So we discovered none of them really, to be honest with you, even till today, has a pure cloud native architecture. So we wanted to really change this, and it's been a struggle, it's been a journey, but Symphony intention is to be the complete opposite of what, the opposite of what exists in this software industry, to really push into a new platform architecture and focus on the customer experiences. And I want to address when you said about the large credit card. Today announcement on my keynote is a very, very big one. The 4 years in Rakuten Mobile, so if you ask me and the team, what else we could have done better. So the first thing that we focus on Rakuten Mobile, our inspiration came actually from Tesla. Tesla, not in terms of EV, but Tesla in terms of their factories. When I looked at their factory, I was really, really impressed with the industrialization of how they build their unibody. The unibody for the car was just, what an incredible idea. And it just get better, and it get better, and it get better in manufacturing and process. Vertical integration, is what I think now Tesla, I call it as a platform. It's not just an EV car. Now, for building sites, the same thing. I said, look, if we're going to succeed at building 32,000 in 2 years, then we have to industrialize the sites. And industrialization means they become like Lego boxes. Every Lego box looks identical. So we've done that. And, in the early generation, we had the antenna. At the site itself, I never had electronics. But, you had a cell site router, you had rectifier's battery. And because we used old products that are not ORAN compliant, we had to convert CPRI into IP. So we needed a box that does that. Now, today announcement for our first radio access as a service, SIMware. SIMware is a game changer because it converges virtual routing stack, converges DU application, converges front hole gateway that converts CPRI to eCPRI, all in one integrated package. And furthermore, it guarantees hardware refresh cycle every 3 years, so you as an operator never have to worry about what future technology might come through. We will address that as Rakuten Symphony. So I think it's a really, really big event on this SIMware. And this is an 18 months R&D program that we've been building together with Intel. That now we are ready to tell the world about this breakthrough architecture. And not only software has advanced into what we are going to do, but honestly, you'll notice that the cost for this SIMware appliance is as affordable as the cost that you host your IT application in a cloud environment. So we're going to get to a point when we announce publicly the pricing structure for this. I think you will be pleasantly surprised, and maybe to my expectation, slightly shocked that I'm going to approach Wi-Fi-like pricing for licensed radio. And I am determined to hit that threshold where the services model we offer, if you compare licensed radio versus Wi-Fi, that will be the aspiration goal and costing structure.
I'm looking forward to it. One of the projects, I know we have a wrap, one of the
Yeah.
projects that we are actually working with the tip on is we're trying to do market validation for Project Unity, which is hyper-converge of Wi-Fi and private mobile solution.
Yep.
Tip was working with. And so we're looking at economics of 10 cents, 20 cents a square foot for deployment.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi economics. And my view is just keep driving. Right? That's what needs
The licensed radio today, in our network today, I publicly mentioned this, our millimeter wave today is exactly the same cost as outdoor Wi-Fi, $1,500. You buy this from traditional vendor, it's in tens of thousands of dollars. And we're going to continue, by the way, to drive this down. So the more that we commoditize what is called in our industry, this is just the magic. The more that we get outside of this black box architecture, and the more we focus on software, an ecosystem I believe is going to get created that is just focused on really saying, look, I just want to be a hardware builder. And we need a lot of those hardware builders to come in for this industry. Yeah.
The white box industry. And one of these is I want to understand your view on the telco. What is a telco anyway, right?
Yeah.
Right? Is it just spectrum holding with some marketing capabilities, right? Is that what it becomes?
Well, I think it all depends on their wish and desire. If they acknowledge that, transformation is now a matter of survivability, I think maybe there is a much broader path. And I do believe that there will be a broader path to focus on digitization, internet services, not just to say, I just want to provide you a vehicle on a road just for connectivity, because we all understand now that there's no, in my opinion, that the value of this is not as big as the value of the OTT services that come on top of it.
Think of Wi-Fi in cities and airports. They don't own that infrastructure.
Yeah.
Somebody
Yeah.
else who does it for them.
That's correct. That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the telco sort of transforming and just aggregating itself. Right?
Yeah.
Just like
Yep,
the
yep.
picture is, the telco needs to change. And some of the telco plans we work with.
Yep.
Anyway, so
I know.
But pleasure meeting
Thank you very
and
much. Nice to meet
insightful.
you. Thank you guys. Thank you.
Follow up.